Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to do a walkthrough of the Hamburger Festival in Hamburg, Pennsylvania. So there's a lot of different vendors here, as well as food trucks, and just lots of things to do. They have, I think it was like 75 different food trucks, and then around 150 arts and crafts vendors, artesian vendors. There are a lot of rescues and nonprofits. This is my friend's stand. She makes all this stuff and she makes these little concrete skulls and these all the things you see on that table there are made of concrete. She creates the molds herself and then pours the concrete and paints them. So the sound is cut out in this video because there are bands on every corner and the bands are playing all day long. So we don't want to get copyright striked here. So we are just we're just gonna talk over it instead. And see what we can find. So they have a magician, I can't talk, a magician. They have face painting for little kids. They have a rock climbing wall, which we'll see later. They have a hamburger eating contest, a contest where you eat a hamburger, you run a mile, you eat another hamburger, and you run back, which sounds very vomit inducing, if you ask me. Um, They have a mechanical bull you can ride. Trying to think what else they have. There's just so many things, like so many things I didn't even realize that they had because I never usually get to leave my stand. Let's keep watching. So yeah, so this guy makes like woodworking items. I did stop and talk to a couple of the people while I was filming. And then there are points where I just had to stop altogether because it was just way too crowded. So we're coming up here on one of the corners. There's a bunch of food trucks in here. There's also some vendors. And one of the beer and wine gardens, I believe, is over to the left. And you will see the Hamburg police. There they are on bicycles, just keeping the peace, making sure that there's no disturbances or anything like that. It's a very peaceful festival. I've attended many years and I've um, never heard of any incidents happening. There's a multitude of different vendors. This person sells looks like vinyls. This vendor over here sells, it looks like Halloween inspired items as well as honey. This does happen the Labor Day weekend, so there's going to be a lot of Halloween inspired things in the video, which I'm okay with because I love Halloween. There's food trucks that have veggie patties, so it's not just all meat options. There's a street corn vendor. There's a pickle on a stick vendor, which we'll see later. There was a vendor that had like Chinese takeout containers, and I'm not sure if it was vegetarian or not. Um, and then as far as the burger stands go, There's so many different ones. They have burgers with mac and cheese on top. They have burgers with marshmallow fluff and hot sauce, burgers with a fried egg on top, crab meat on top. Pretty much, if you can think of it, it's probably here. This guy just sold garden flags, it looks like. And this is a popcorn vendor and candy corn. There's also dessert food trucks, as well as small businesses in the area that will be open for people to go in, like an ice cream store. That stand right there sold cookies. There was a cupcake stand that sold cupcakes that look like cheeseburgers, and they're all like in a packaging, so you're not having your food out in the open like that. In that shot there, you can kind of see how busy it was. I'm very short, so um, it's kind of hard for me to get a really good view and see lots of butts because I'm so short. This is an old-fashioned soda truck. I think this was one of the stands that said that they weren't doing shows after this was their last one. I know there was a few that I talked to that said that, and it's been a really bad year for vendors. I think just the economy's not great, so it's been a bad year for us. But you know, either you decide it's not worth it anymore, or you just keep pushing forward and hope it gets better. This is a boba tea. Yep, this is a boba tea truck. My cat is yelling at me in the background. It's an empanada stand. Oh, I went to a vegan festival and they had amazing empanadas. They were so good. This is a stand that had the marshmallow um, burger with the hot sauce on it. They were right across from me. And they actually own the building behind them. It's like a brewery type of deal. See, there's a Greek food truck. Oh my goodness, my cat is really screaming at me now. She's not happy. Some more burger trucks. They also have a contest. So you vote on your favorite burger. A lot of people will split the cheeseburger with their friends that are with them so they can try different ones. And then you vote and you put in your votes there's like stands throughout that you can put your vote in it. And then the winning truck or stand gets a plaque and bragging rights. There is one of the stands has like 13 plaques, so they've won a lot. And it's been going on for 21 years, so they've won, I would say, half. I couldn't find statistics on how many people actually showed up, but if I had to guess, I would say it's around 5,000. There's a lot of people. It is voted one of the top 10 festivals in Pennsylvania, and they do say in their own literature that they have people there all the way from Australia. Some of the other things they have going on, they have balloon animals, they have a sand art stand for kids. I think the pricing depends on the size of the art bottle. Um, they have a cow decorating contest, which is like a wooden cow that kids can decorate. I did see a lot of kids walking around with them, so I'm not sure if you get the choice to enter it into the contest or if at some point you just go pick it up. I'm not really sure. I don't have kids, so there's another bakery. I think that was the one that had the um, cheeseburger cupcakes. So you can see the streets are blocked off. They do offer free admission to the festival, and then there is parking. It is $10 a car to park in the designated lots with a shuttle service that goes to the festival. If you're lucky, you might be able to find parking in off streets and not have to park in the lot, but I would say it's probably very hard to find. So here's the wooden cows that are in the cow decorating contest. I think there was 2 stands that had this. I got turned around a lot because there was similar stands in multiple locations. So I was constantly going back to the boards thinking like, where am I? And of course the Wi-Fi didn't work and the service wasn't the best. So I did have one person trying to pay with credit card and couldn't do it because the service was down, and they actually used their phone as a hotspot in order to pay for their item. There are ATMs set up as well, so you don't need to bring cash with you. Although I don't know what the fee is for the ATMs. There's also a stand that you can buy Hamburger Festival merchandise from, like the hamburger hat you just saw on that girl that walked past. They have T-shirts, they have shorts that say nice buns on them, and socks, all sorts of things that you can purchase. There's several booths that are kissing booths, but they're kissing a dog instead of a human, which is adorable. And there was also goats. You can pet goats or feed the goats. There's also a lot of little shops in downtown that you can go to, little restaurants and things. If you don't really find anything at the festival that tickles your fancy, there's plenty in the area that you could choose from instead. And I did talk to a few people that did say they come for the vendors, the craft and artisan vendors, and not necessarily the food. This is a duck. I don't want to say race, but you pick a duck and you win a prize. I think everybody wins a prize, and there were some high valued prizes in there. This was, I believe, the silent auction for this artwork. Yes. So there is an art gallery in town that usually has a stand set up. I'm not sure if this is their stand, but I don't think it was. I mean, it could have been. There's the face painting stand for little kids. This looks like bakery goods, but it's actually candles. This does span multiple streets and uh, goes off in like a grid, sort of you saw in the very beginning. This is a 3D printing stand. I'm not sure what that stand was. All sorts of things to purchase. This stand had some really cool stuff. She said this was her last show. She was going into a local shop instead. She's my competition because she sells potion bottles, but it's okay. It's all good. It's good to have a little competition. She has some really cool stuff. And, she's probably sick of going to vendor shows like I am, but it is what it is. This stand had really cheap clothes. I think they were like $2. Um, I'm not sure if it was like a nonprofit or something. This stand sold all like dog collars and leashes and bandanas. I would not wanna set that up. That is a lot of product, and it's very small product to set up. It's so much. I wouldn't wanna do it. Wouldn't be able to do it. They also have handicap parking, in the designated lots, but they do ask that only people that have the handicap placard utilize the handicap parking. I'm not sure how many spots there actually are, so they're probably limited. And you'll see here a lot of people just sit on the ground. Um, there is a lack of seating besides in the beer and garden areas. Here is the hamburger official merchandise stand, and here is the hats and the shorts that say nice buns on them. They also, like I said, had socks and t-shirts that you can purchase. This is a stand that has those dolls that go inside of each other and they're like smaller and they have all different types. They were next to me the past 2 years, but maybe my spooky stuff scared them away and they weren't a new spot. No, wait, no, I think this was a stand that had the cheap clothing. I don't know what the other stand was. There's the pickle guys, pickles on a stick. They had all different flavors. And if you like this type of video, I do these a lot for shows that I go to. So give it a like, give me a subscribe. There is a whole playlist of just shows that I go to, and you can watch them, see if it's something you'd be interested in. And I do have my normal content as well, um, which is just like my art process. This guy has some really cool artwork. I stopped and talked to him for a few minutes. 'Some jewelry stands. Homemade jewelry is always really popular. 'Cause there's some really cool masks for Halloween. I love Halloween. It's my favorite holiday. Some more homemade jewelry, it looks like. This stand was right next to me. She was super sweet. It was her first year, and, she was disappointed with the sales, but what can you do? This is my stand. Look at all my stuff. All the potion bottles. Most of the stuff you can watch the making of on my YouTube channel. Most of it, not all of it. Where are we at now? I think this might be the road where the rock climbing wall is? Might be. It kind of all looks the same after a while. Oh, there's Bigfoot. He was walking around, you could take pictures with Bigfoot. I don't remember seeing him in previous years. This might have been his first year, or I might have just not noticed him. There's usually people walking around in burger suits like on Bob's Burgers, but I didn't see them this year. Some more art stands. There's so many art stands, but there's nobody that makes stuff like what I make. There's another animal rescue. I bought from them previously. They do cats and dogs. Oh, this was really cool. So it's a gem mining contraption thing. It just looks like dirty water, but you have like a little screen and you go into the water and you take out your hooks and gems, I guess. And it goes pretty low to the ground so little kids can still reach in. So as you can see, there's so many other things besides just food vendors. And the pricing at all the food vendors varies depending on um, what they sell. There's also just french fry stands. There was a stand in previous years that had what they called a potato tornado. It was a tornado that was spiralized on a stick and deep fried, I think. You got lots of options, lots of food options. I mean, it is a food festival, so kind of makes sense that there's lots of food options, but there's also lots of other options as well. And it does span a large portion of their downtown area. Oh, we're coming up on the goat snuggling. This was my favorite thing. If I would have brought money with me when I walked around, that would have been it. I would have just stayed in the goat snuggling pen and that would be the end of my video. There it is, goat snuggling, $5. Look at the goats. They also had the option to feed them as well. Look at those little cuties. Oh my gosh. They're so freaking cute. Yes, I think this might be the street with the climbing wall. Some more food trucks, kind of all over the place. They do give you a brochure so you can kind of see like where you want to go. And it lists the stands and what they sell. So, and where they're located. Stuffed pretzel stand. There's also two Annie Ann's pretzel trucks in different locations. I think if you're at a food festival, try something you haven't tried before. Be adventurous. I think that's an ice cream stand. There was also a milkshake stands. Oh, this is a seating area, but very far and few between. This is the stand that won all the awards. If you just saw them there, they had a whole bunch of them that they won. Little Darth Vader there. My niece does that. She dresses up in different costumes all the time. For Christmas last year, I got her a whole bunch of superhero costumes. She just likes to play dress up. Don't know what this truck is. I think there was like a taco truck somewhere too. But I know the street corn stand in previous years had sold out. I don't think they sold out of street corn this year, though. I think they came prepared. This stand said this was their last show. They had some really cool um, metal art there. As you can see, it's pretty popular. At least it wasn't super hot. In previous years, it was so hot out. This year was overcast all day, but luckily it didn't start raining until 5:30, and the festival goes till 6, so it wasn't too bad. Not sure what this stand is. Oh, I know what this stand is. This guy had these really cool lamps, and they're made out of like old parts. They're super cool. Okay, that was not the street with with the rock climbing wall. And I don't know what these guys make. There were some stands that just sold like sauces and things like that, homemade sauces. I guess a food festival is a good place for homemade sauces. You try them right on your sandwich or your street corn, you know, whatever works, no judging. I think by this point I was just so tired that I'm like, you know what? I'm not walking up and down every side anymore. I'm too tired. It didn't help that I was wearing boots and they're like a little bit too big. They're size 7, which is about what I normally wear. I'm usually between a 6.5 and a 7. And it just happened to be that they were just a little big. So by the time I got done walking through this place 9 million times, because I kept backtracking, my feet were killing me, and I was just glad to be back at my stand and sitting down, which is my own fault. I should have worn more comfy shoes, but beauty is pain. Isn't that what they say? Comfy shoes wouldn't have went with my fit, so just be miserable and have hurting feet all day. That's all. Ribbon fries. I wonder what ribbon fries are. I also saw a lot of people with funnel cakes, so the funnel cake stands must have been really popular. There's the rock climbing wall. So if you reach the top of the rock climbing wall, you get one of the cheeseburger or hamburger hats for free. They do have safety equipment on, so it's a milk cheek stand. So it's a little, less dangerous. I mean, there was little kids climbing it, so I don't think it's super dangerous to begin with. It goes about 3 stories up, I would say, maybe a little bit more. So this, I think, might be the end of the festival, but there was also some stands over at this store here. So I walked over to them and included them in my video as well. They might be part of the festival, but I'm not 100% if they are or not, because the road blockage ends there. So they just might just be set up outside this business here, just kind of trying to get some traffic. But they're like a half a block away from the end of the festival. There wasn't too many people over here. and I think a lot of people just weren't walking over. They did have some really cool stuff, and stinks they didn't get a lot of foot traffic because there were so many people. But people generally, if it's too far away, they'll just turn around and go back, which is unfortunate. If I were one of these vendors, I would just set up at the regular festival next year. Or this business did have a little bowl outside for people's dogs to drink some water, which is nice. Like I said, luckily it wasn't super hot out that day, but it is still hot enough. And we're back at the festival, trying to find my way back to my stand. We are coming up to the end here. Oh no, let's see. What do we have here? Just a bunch of people walking around. There was also some people that just lived on these streets that set up tables outside because they were having a yard sale. So that was pretty funny. Tastefully simple. Didn't even know they were still a thing. Wood burning stuff. It's pretty cool. There was two different radio stations, I believe. There's another Auntie Anne's truck. There was also a law firm, and I think there was like a window and door place at some part too. Not really selling anything. I think it was more just like information. It's not super expensive to set up here. I know they charge the food vendors more, but for craft and artisan vendors, it's not that expensive. So I imagine the fee that they paid to be here is not really that bad, considering if they get, any leads out of it. Yep, we're almost at the end here. A sensei consultant. A lot of places don't allow um, the corporate things like Scentsy and Tastefully Simple. Um, this festival doesn't carry it, but they might limit it to like one. I'm not sure though, like one per brand. There is another moonshine place as well. They have really good moonshine. I bought from them before and it's delicious. There's no bite to it at all. I don't know how they do it, but it's really good. And I'll link to the festival website in the description so you can get all the details from them. Normally, I link all the vendors, but there's just too many. It would just be like, no, there's too many. You can't link all these. And they do have this every year. So it is Labor Day weekend, like I said. So if you're interested in going next year, it would be Labor Day weekend of next year as well. And this is about the end here. We're almost done. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to end the video with one of the rescues cards you'll see at the very end there. Give them a follow and share their stuff. Adopt, don't shop. And if you can, donate if you can. If you can't, then share. We can all do our part. Remember to TNR your animals. And I will see you next time, which will be next week when I have a new video. Thanks for watching. Bye.